Balatro. Today, I will be reading the Wiki article for Balatro. Balatro is a 2024 poker-themed roguelike deck-building game developed by Local Thunk and published by PlayStack. It was released on Microsoft Windows, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X/S. On February 20th, 2024, with a port to macOS on March 1st. Ports for Android and iOS were released in September 26, 2024. In the game, the player plays poker hands to score points and defeat blinds. Balatro received multiple nominations at the Game Awards 2024, including Game of the Year and Best Game Direction, winning for Best Independent Game, Best Debut Indie Game, Best Mobile Game. It also received multiple nominations at the 28th Annual DICE Awards, including for Game of the Year and Outstanding Achievement in Game Design, and winning for Outstanding Achievement for an Independent Game, Strategy/Simulation Game of the Year, and Mobile Game of the Year. Gameplay. Playthrough. Balatro is a roguelike deck-building game. The player chooses a deck, each with unique effects and cards. Before each playthrough or run, a run is divided into antes, with 3 blinds each of increasing difficulty. A blind consists of multiple rounds, where the player has to utilize various combinations of cards to score at least the required amount of points. To defeat blinds more easily, the player may choose to buy various cards which change the rules of the game. These items are bought in the shop in between rounds. Each ante consists of 3 rounds: a small blind, a big blind, and a boss blind. Small and big blinds can either be skipped or played. On skipping a blind, the player forgoes the normal reward for defeating the blind for an opportunity to use the shop, but is rewarded with a tag. Most tags give some benefit upon entering the next shop, like free cards or booster packs, but some give effects instantly, or when other criteria are met. Boss blinds provide additional challenges, such as debuffing the effects of certain cards or requiring the player to clear the round with only one hand. In each blind, players have a limited number of poker hands, within which they must beat a target score, as well as a limited number of discards with which they may replace up to 5 cards in their hand with different ones. The game ends if the player runs out of hands before reaching the target score. During a round, the player draws cards from a deck of cards, starting with the standard 52 cards, with playing cards added and destroyed throughout the game. The player then selects up to 5 cards with the objective of forming poker hands to score points. The hand's base value is calculated and turned into quote-unquote chips, which are then multiplied by mult score, which increases depending on cards, hands, and current jokers. Joker cards affect the game in various ways, such as offering additional chips, or mult when conditions are met, or changing how certain poker hands are played. Once a blind has been defeated, players are awarded with cash based on their performance, after which they are taken to the shop. Here, the players can use cash earned by clearing blinds or selling unwanted cards to purchase individual cards, packs containing a random set of cards, or choosing from a voucher, which adds additional perks and conditions to the remainder of the run. After the player wins 8 antes completing a run, they can continue the game in an endless mode, where they see how many points they can get. The player is capable of beating 39 antes in endless mode before the game crashes. Cards. Jokers are the primary means by which players can alter their scoring in the game, among other effects. The game was released with 150 jokers. Many jokers provide chips or bonuses based on certain conditions, and some provide additional multipliers. Some jokers can reward money or consumable cards on meeting their conditions. Jokers can be found with or upgraded to various variants, like foil, polychrome, negative, or holographic versions, which provide further bonuses. Part of the strategy of Balatro is filling one's limited joker slots with jokers that have interactions with each other and other cards to greatly increase scoring opportunities. Players can shape the deck through various means, which can be used to improve the odds of drawing specific hands. Additional playing cards can be obtained through booster packs at the shop. Tarot cards provide various one-time effects, such as changing cards to different suits, enhancing them to provide bonuses when played, or eliminating cards. While spectral cards similarly provide much stronger various one-time effects, between these it is possible to play non-traditional jokers, traditional poker hands such as five of a kind, flush house, full house with all the same suit, or flush five of the same suit and rank. Planet cards raise the level of a select poker hand, increasing their base chips and values when played. Spectral cards provide more effects beyond the tarot cards, such as applying finishes to cards that automatically apply bonuses under certain conditions. The types of card decks that the player chooses at the beginning of the game also have their own effects. The player starts with a starter series of decks, and completing runs can unlock new ones. Clearing runs also unlocks stakes for the deck used, which can add more difficult conditions to the run. New special cards and vouchers can be unlocked for future runs by clearing certain conditions. Development. Balatro was developed by Local Thunk, an anonymous solo developer based in Saskatchewan, Canada. In an interview, he said that he mostly plays online competitive games and that he ponders roguelike games more than actually playing them. Despite the game's theme, Local Thunk said he doesn't play poker, nor does he want the game to be used for gambling by casinos or players. Development began in 2001, 2.5 years before release, and the game was initially intended to be one of several small games that were shared with friends. The initial idea was an online version of the Cantonese card game Big 2, which had players playing with a number of cards to create poker-like hands. After seeing the number of roguelike deck builders on Steam, and after watching a Twitch stream of Northern Lion playing Luck Be a Landlord, a slot machine-themed roguelike, he was inspired to turn his Big 2 clone into a single-player roguelike deck builder without online play. According to Local Thunk, he also avoided playing with any of the other deck builders to avoid taking ideas from these games, and he had played Slay the Spire near the end of development to understand how the game implemented its control scheme. He, at one point, considered the name Joker Poker for the game before settling on Balatro, a professional jester or buffoon. On using the standard 52 playing card deck as a base, Local Thunk said, "It's this shared cultural gaming design tool that has evolved over hundreds of years." And on the game's success, he quoted as being partially, "because you're borrowing from this really tried and true tool." The soundtrack for Balatro was written and produced by Louis F., a freelance Fiverr artist. A very early version of the game was circulated among his friends, who gave positive reviews after months of playing. About a year prior to release, Local Thunk quit his day job to focus on finishing Balatro, to put on a resume. He signed a publishing contract with GameStack. With their help, developed a launch campaign around beta releases and promotion via major video game streamers. Locothunk used player feedback from the betas for additional features in the final version of the game, including the addition of boss battles. Balatro was programmed by Lua with the Love Game framework. Locothunk's pseudonym derives from Love's way of declaring variables, local and a common variable name in his project, Thunk. Release. In 2023, prior to release, the game became available as a demo. It was removed by Locothunk on January 1st, 2024, and was brought back on January 25th with a new version containing 40 new jokers, new bosses, and the ability to buy booster packs. The new version was uploaded alongside a new trailer and a release date for the full version of the game, February 20th. On April 2024, the game was made easier with an experimental balance patch. Shortly after the game's release, Balatro's PEGI was changed from 3+ to 18+ for predominantly gambling imagery due to PEGI's strict rules on portraying gambling, causing the game to be temporarily removed from sale in certain territories. Publisher GameStack stated that they had discussed the game's content with PEGI prior to release, causing its initial 18+ rating to be lowered to 3+, and that while being based on poker, the game does not portray any form of gambling and intended to appeal the re-rating. Locothunk criticized the rating change, saying, "Maybe I should add microtransactions, loot boxes, and real gambling to lower that rating to 3+ like EA Sports FC." The ruling was successfully appealed to PEGI in February 2025, and along with Luck Be a Landlord, was reclassified with a 12+ rating, recognizing that the fantasy elements of the game distinguished it from gambling. PEGI has stated that they will introduce more granular classification rules for future games involving gambling-like elements. 4 free Friends of Jimbo updates adding interchangeable cosmetic packs featuring crossovers from other video games were released on August 24th, October 24th, December 12th of 2024, and February 24th of 2025, respectively. The first update featured crossovers with The Witcher 3, Vampire Survivors, Dave the Diver, and Among Us. The second update features crossovers from Cyberpunk 2077, The Binding of Isaac, Slay the Spire, and Stardew Valley. The third update features crossovers from Divinity Original Sin 2, Shovel Knight, Potioncraft, Enter the Gungeon, Cult of the Lamb, Don't Starve, 1000X Resist, and Warframe. The fourth update features crossovers with Critical Role, Bugsnax, Sid Meier's Civilization, Rust, Assassin's Creed, Slay the Princess, Dead by Daylight, and Fallout. Additionally, content based on Balatro was added to Dave the Diver via free update released on October 24, 2024, a large update to Cyberpunk 2077 in December 2024 added a Balatro-themed quest. Locothunk and PlayStack confirmed plans for ports to Android and iOS mobile devices on March 2024. The ports were released on September 26, 2024, including a Balatro Plus version for Apple Arcade. The ports grossed $1 million in a week and $4.4 million in 2 months. A physical deck of Balatro playing cards using Balatro's pixel graphic art produced by Fangamer is set to be released sometime in 2025. Reception. Balatro has received universal acclaim, according to review aggregator Metacritic. OpenCritic, another aggregator, said that 100% of critics recommend the game. The game's playability has received praise from critics. Simon Cardy from IGN described it as a ludicrously fun and remarkably approachable, while John Helm from Hardcore Gamer called it addictive and expertly crafted. Charlie Brooker, the creator of Black Mirror, called it possibly the most addictive thing I've ever created, and that once it released for mobile devices, humankind's activity is going to drop about 25%. Writing for The Guardian, Kenza MacDonald stated that Balatro might be the best card game you will ever come across. In addition, the game's roguelike elements have received positive reviews. Abby Stone from PC Gamer described gameplay as strategizing with your way to success, and Alexandro Barbosa from GameSpot called each run surprisingly fresh. Chris Allnut, writing in Financial Times, praised the wonderfully retro VCR-style visuals, lo-fi music, and irreverent sound effects. With the success of Balatro, Local Thunk kept to a low profile, not wanting much attention on the real-world identity, and avoiding the stress that would come with it. They have also used the attention drawn to Balatro to highlight some other indie titles released near the same time, including naming Animal Well, Dungeons and Degenerate Gamblers, Arco, Nova Drift, Ballillionaire, and Mouthwashing for their Golden Thunk Awards. While Local Thunk and his partner have been present at the Game Awards, he told no one else who they were, and opted to allow representatives from PlayStack to accept the rewards Balatro won on his behalf. Following his popularity, the game has inspired significant activity with the player community, including memes, the integration of other games within it, and an unofficial port to Apple Watch developed in 2025 called Wii Balatro, which is awaiting the author's approval. Sales. Within 8 hours of release, the game had made over $1 million USD in gross revenue, according to the publisher PlayStack. Over 1 million copies were sold within the first month. By January 2025, the game had surpassed 5 million copies, with around half of these coming after the mobile release in September 2024, and does not account for those playing the game through for free through Apple Arcade. Accolades. Balatro received nominations for multiple accolades. In 2024, it won Golden Joysticks Awards Best Indie Game and Breakthrough Awards. At the Game Awards 2024, it won Best Independent Game, Best Debut Indie Game, and Best Mobile Game. It was also nominated for Game of the Year, with the first time a solo game project was nominated for the top honor. It also received rewards from Academy of Innovative Arts and Sciences for Outstanding Achievement for an Independent Game, Strategy/Simulation Game of the Year, and Mobile Game of the Year at the 28th Annual DICE Awards. I believe that's it.